everybody. Thanks for watching. We're in Traverse City, just outside the offices of Helplink, but it's so much more than that. Executive Director Karen Fulkerson joining us now. And Karen, it's Helplink, Agape Financial, and Family Partnership.
You got it. You got it right.
And you're overseeing all of that to help along folks who need help, right?
Yes.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about who you help here at Helplink and why do they come to you?
So the Helplink Drop-In Center is a program where people can just come in. We work with people who are struggling with all kinds of issues of poverty. So they might be in any kind of urgent situation. Maybe they're being evicted, maybe they need help with purchasing medications, all kinds of things. So they come here for help.
And it would be somebody that maybe that the government has either turned away or couldn't help, or maybe they're having trouble dealing with those entities, and that's where you can step in, right?
Right. So we see people who have been everywhere else meaning DHHS, Community Action Agency, Father Fred, and for whatever reason they didn't find help there. There's lots of good reasons for that. So they come here as a last resort, and then we also have folks who come here that have never been in this situation before and just have no idea where to turn.
Right.
So our first line of action is to link them to the resources that are available. Sometimes they came from those other places and felt like they weren't going to get help from them. And the truth is that there's just some paperwork, some things that need to be done. And so we're going to work with them, take them by the hand, and make sure that they get those services.
Right. And you speak the language of these other groups, and you kind of know how they play ball.
Right.
So you can do a better job of maybe navigating those waters.
Absolutely. In fact, we call our volunteers Navigators for that reason. And so they're very well versed in all of the criteria that these other organizations ask for them to meet, and also with what other resources are available. We also work with the faith community with their community ministries that they have.
Right.
So we'll work with them to distribute those funds to directly help folks. So last year we pulled in $38,000 from the community that went directly from ministries, individual donations, directly to people who needed help for one thing or another. And so, it's local people helping local individuals. Right.
And you made a good point earlier. That when you see someone who's getting close to making the turn for the better, then that's when Agape Financial takes over, and you might be able to help them with a mini interest-free loan or things of that nature, but also counseling financially.
Right. So Agape Financial does individual budget coaching and sometimes small interest-free microloans. So when we're working with someone at Helplink or someone that maybe a church has referred to us, we may say, gosh, this person is so close to turning the curve. All they need is just a little bit of help. And so we might give them a small loan and then assign them a budget coach that is going to just kind of keep working with them. There's nothing like seeing your budget in black and white to see where the gaps are and what I need to do. And so a lot of folks who are in this situation will say, hey, I don't even make enough money to pay all my bills. What is a budget coach going to do? Well, it's going to walk you through what the gap is in what you make and what you need to make in order to survive. And now we can start to talk about what a solution for that is. Right.
You also used a phrase earlier that I had not heard before, but you talked about the invisible working poor. Right. These are the folks who are probably working part-time or maybe even full-time, but just getting by, and if anything comes along, it just sends everything into harem-scarum.
Right. Those are the folks that we try to really wrap our services around. So just this week we talked with a woman who has worked all her life. She worked her way up to management here in the community, and because of health reasons, Crohn's disease, fibromyalgia, just hit all of a sudden with all of this and is no longer able to work. In the meantime, her husband has been doing handyman jobs, but it's not quite enough to pay the bills at this point. So in a proactive move, she came to see us to get this. She had a $300 shortfall in what she could pay for rent this month, and she has been working hard to build her credit score.
Right.
And so if she doesn't pay this, her credit score is going to
takes
go
a
bad.
beating, right.
And most people will say, well, there's eviction diversion programs here. And there are, and they're great, except that they require you to have an eviction notice. Guess what happens to your credit score when you get an eviction
doesn't
notice?
help,
right?
right.
So she's worked all these years to get, I mean, then they're just close to turning the corner. So we worked with them. Her husband now has a job. We helped him find a job. We've found that $300 shortfall for this month, and we're going to continue to work with her to stay on that path, right? And this is where our third program, Family Partnership, would step in, and that is to assign a mentor to her who would just kind of help work with her to keep those things untangled, to help her solve, because a lot of times these folks become very isolated. You know, when you're struggling with all this stuff, this is not something you talk to people about, right? If I'm not able to pay my bills, that's not something I want to broadcast, but we're going to put a mentor who's supportive and is going to treat you with dignity and as you should be, right? So that's helpful in helping people stay on that path.
Karen, thanks for the time.
Oh, awesome. Thanks for having me.
All right, folks, in Traverse City at Helplink, I'm Vic McCarty, My News 26.